Well, hello again. We're back. You might be surprised to hear a voice with you on a practice session, but this is Jackie Wong, Rocker Skating, and we are at the 2024 U.S. Figure Skating Championships, and it's a pairs practice, and we've got some pairs for you. I am alone right now. If you were with us for the women's practice a little earlier, I had Paulina Edmonds with me. I will have a special guest later in Olympic medalist Tim Goebel. He'll be joining me for the last group of pairs. We also, if you didn't join us for the women's practice earlier, we had Star Andrews join us during the ice cut for an interview. We will have an interview as well during the ice cut in between the second and the third group. So excited to bring you that. But in the meantime, we are back on the ice, and we've got first four pairs on the ice right now. This is going to be, I don't even want to use the word interesting because that doesn't really encapsulate the kind of potential intrigue that we're going to see this week for the pairs event. And it's just a lot of talent, a lot of unknowns, also just a lot of brand new pairs this season who are ready to potentially make a surprise. And remember, we have 3 spots at Worlds to be filled, and so it is a lot of opportunity for the American pairs, for these new pairs to really bring something new to the table. And one of those pairs is Chelsea Loon Balajnaj, who you're seeing here on the screen right now as they're in their 6-minute warm-up. They have had a very solid season so far. First season together, had some really good stuff internationally, including a bronze at Skate America. So they're one of those who are sort of like, you got to watch them this week. Another pair this week, and they'll be on this ice as well, is Emily Chan and Spencer Howe, who we have not seen all season. And if you looked at last year, based on how they did last year, making it to the Grand Prix final, doing as well as they did at the World Championships, you would have thought that, after Alexa Kinnear and Brandon Frazier took this season off, you would imagine that they would have been the ones who would be in the top here. But we haven't seen them all season. He had shoulder surgery, and so there's a lot to be seen here. And then in this group, now we're on the screen here with Isabel Martins and Ryan Bedard. They've had a solid international season as well. So just a lot of really interesting, really talented, and just really, you have no idea what's going to happen this week. And it could be very exciting, given the kind of talent that we have and the kinds of really good pairings that we're seeing this season. For those of you out there watching, let me know what kinds of questions you have. We're talking a lot about general technique and how everything is kind of comes together on a practice session and during the sort of preparation lead up to the competition. And there's just so much, right? And part of why I love practices, and you all know if you follow me on Twitter and X, that this is half the reason why I go to these competitions is to watch practices. And there's just so much that you can learn about skaters' preparations and where they are, and also just like how they're looking. And it's fun to watch that extra bit of skating while you're here. So really fun to take a look at these, and I really hope you all are enjoying this extra bits and pieces of information that we're giving you here on this, again, very new experiment that we're doing with the practice stream.
Competitors, this warm-up has concluded. Now skating, short program, Isabel Martins and Ryan Bedard.
As you're all watching the pairs warm up here, we got Martins and Bedard skating first. What often happens with pairs, one is you'll see the difference in the numbers of skaters that you've got on pairs ice. Four pair teams are that's the maximum that you can have on a warm-up session or a practice session. Versus the 6 single skaters that you have and the 5 dance teams that you can have. Which, in some ways, I'm kind of like, maybe you should bring the dance team practice limit to 4 as well, given the kind of nature of the sport these days. But that's a question for another day. But you see a lot when folks are warming up that, and also warming down and practicing during practice ice, that there's a lot of solo skating going on versus in dance where there's much more of the dance team that is kind of doing the work at the same time. We'll talk a little bit more about the twist in a bit. Often people actually talk about the twist as the trickiest element for pairs. And you see it once, and you often see it at the very beginning of the program because of that. It requires a lot of power, timing, general being in the right headspace. You don't see that many mistakes on twists, but it is one of those elements that is deceptively difficult.
Now skating, Emily Chan and Spencer Howe, to be followed by Lindsay Fitzpatrick and Keaton Behringer.
Emily and Spencer on the ice now for their run through. Definitely the biggest unknown, biggest question mark of this entire pairs competition because literally we haven't seen him all season. Spencer had a shoulder surgery earlier in the off season, and it's just been a lot of recovery since. So that was triple twist. The thing that I'll point out to you all with the twist is the way that the levels are called there, and it comes in basically four different phases of the twist itself. There's the lead into it. So steps preceding it is a level. There is the split that goes before the twist. That's another level. There is the air position. That is potentially another level. So you can actually have your arm above your head for that as a level there. And then the catch is another level. So a lot of different things that are part of what originally was a much simpler element of kind of the throwing the partner up on a twist as a lift. That's why it's called a twist lift. For Emily and Spencer, there's a lot that's kind of just like riding on both the side-by-sides and the throw, and it's again the lack of competition time is going to be the biggest factor at play here for them.
Now skating, Lindsay Fitzpatrick and Keaton Behringer, their free skate program.
The thing that I also noticed about Emily and Spencer yesterday was, I was mentioning earlier the shoulder surgery. His shoulder probably is still in some kind of recovery mode, and one of the things that I saw yesterday was them sort of, I don't know if experimenting is the right word, but kind of testing that shoulder on the lifts, and they did a couple of lifts. It was not it wasn't one of those things where they were kind of overdoing the lifts in order to just make sure that the shoulder's in the right spot for the competition. So it remains to be seen how much more they will be practicing lifts, or if really it is something that they're going to save a lot for the competition. getting some questions on social media about programs and which programs that they get to do. It really depends. I was going to talk about this earlier with Paulina, but the way that U.S. Nationals does its practice groups is very different from the way that ISU competitions do their practice groups. So what happens in international competitions is you have practice groups that are kind of like this, that are drawn randomly, often based on country first, and then once the draws come out, they will be based on the groups of practice will be based on the draws. And depending on what practice session it is, it's either a short program or free skate practice, in which case you can choose whichever program you want to do, or it is a short program warm-up practice, in which case the short program music will play, or free skate warm-up practice, in which case the free skate music will play. The difference at US Nationals is that when you have practice groups like this, they are never based on start order. They are only based on the original grouping that they have, and anytime there is a quote-unquote practice group, you can choose to do a short program or a free skate. Obviously, after the short program, if you're choosing to do the short program, that's on you, and that would be kind of strange. But technically, you could choose to do any program that you want. There is a warm-up program, warm-up practice that they do at U.S. Nationals, where they only allow them to basically skate around and do a practice without music. So that's the big difference between what you see in international competition versus in U.S. Nationals. Chelsea and Balaj now on. You're going to see one of the biggest twists that you'll see at the competition here, but let me go through this with you here. So steps, that's a connecting step. Split, air position, and then the catch. The one that I forgot to mention, so there are 5 features that could allow you to get a level. So there are 4 levels that you can get. So you protocols and such is
Competitors,
you
there are
see,
approximately 19
maybe
minutes
a
remaining in
mistake
this
on the
practice
side by
session.
sides or something on that level, and you're like, oh, well, the score is still pretty high. And that's a lot of that has to do with the way that the the grades of execution are. And one thing that people often overlook is that the lifts actually get a whole lot of points, both the lift and the twist. And so if you've got quality lifts, quality twists, and you've got high grades of execution there, that often will allow you to sort of compensate for other mistakes that you might have relative to other people. Some questions around how how hard is it to stay out of people's way. It's one of those things where after a certain number of years of practicing on often much more crowded pieces of ice, that you kind of develop something of a sixth sense. But it is, especially in these kinds of situations when a lot of skaters are just kind of hyper focused on the things that they are doing. It is actually very difficult sometimes to get out of your own zone and see everything else. And that's why you sometimes see collisions. But, it's a thing that skaters are taught. Looking out for each other, looking at other people's patterns. We talked about patterns earlier in the women's practice broadcast. There are a lot of similarities in the way that people go into certain elements, and so when you recognize that skaters are doing, they're going around the end of the ice, you probably are about to see them go diagonally down to do either a lift or a twist, right? And so there's a lot of that's just natural sort of pattern recognition that skaters see, and they can see and sense that sort of from the corner of their eyes. Tough to explain, but it is it's something that is taught and learned during decades of skating. One thing I appreciate about Martins and Bedard is the kind of surety of their throws. They're one of those that really just go after the throw, and you saw that in that throw triple sound just now. It's a really just, you get a lot of confidence just watching them go into it. Um, and the thing that you see also in pairs practice that I've noticed quite a bit is you get a really good feeling or really good impression of which elements each pair likes the least, because oftentimes that element is the one that happens at the very end of the practice, or that element happens at the very beginning of the practice because they want to make sure they put it into their program run through. So like you saw that with both Chan and Hao, and with Lu and Naj, that they both did their side by sides early on. One, because they wanted to kind of get that out of their way, but two, because they wanted to make sure they put that into their program. Again, all of these things around music timing and kind of general choreographic patterns. Those are just so important, and even more important when you are skating with two people. there's just a lot less room for improvisation when you've got another person whose body motions you can't control. And you'll notice with this group, we are about 20 minutes into the pairs practice now, with still a good amount of practice left to go. And oftentimes, because it's one, it's pairs, and two, there are only 4 pairs on the ice, the run-throughs stop quite early in the pairs practice, and also the pairs often stop much earlier than the single skaters would, and so you'll see that happening, right? The pair spins are going already. Some of these, they've already gone through a good number of the elements that they've done. The repetition is just not nearly as high, partly because you don't do more than 5-6 throws in a competition practice, right? Because these are high impact kind of things. You only do so many lifts because that's sort of you've got a good handle on it. A lot of times, what you will see is a lot of especially pairs that are less comfortable with the twist, a lot of warm up twists into and then into the triple twist. And so it's fewer repetitions. It's more about working on one or two of the things that you may be struggling with a little bit more. There you go. Side-by-side triple salves from Lou and Naj. They hit a couple of those this week. They're on the podium. That is really key for them. And you see here with Chan and Hao, they're almost done with their practice. They're now in basics, stroking, pairing, all that kind of stuff. And I think they're about to bow. There you go. With 9 minutes left to spare. This is not unusual, to be clear. Not unusual for pairs to not take up their entire practice time. It actually happens quite often. Again, because of what I was saying earlier about differences in repetition, and then the things that they're literally just trying to work on and polish right before. All right. Well, we got a second group of pairs practice coming up in 8 minutes. And as this group looks like they are about to finish up, we're going to take a short break and come back at 6:10 for Group B. See you in a little bit.
Our next practice session will begin at 6:10. This practice session is Championship Pairs, Group C. Competitors may now take the ice for a 6-minute warm-up. Each competitor's music will be played one time in this order after the conclusion of the 6-minute warm-up. Ellie Korotik and Timmy Chapman, Nika Dijunas and Mark Sadusky, Elisa Efimova and Mitrofanov, and Ellie Kam and Danny O'Shea.
All right, we're back. I was wrong earlier. It wasn't Group B. Group C is happening here. Whether that is Group B or Group C, it is the second group of pairs that we've got on the ice. What's interesting about this one, another new pair team here, Elisa Efimova and Misha Mitrofanov. And if Elisa Efimova sounds familiar to you, that's because you've probably heard her name a number of times, both as, actually not both, as a Russian pair skater, as a German pair skater, and I think as a Finnish pair skater as well. Go back to all of that. Yep. As a Finnish singles skater. So most recently we saw Efimova with Ruben Blomart for Germany, and they were 10th at Worlds last year actually, and before Ruben decided to retire. And so this is a very brand new pairing, and they were second at the U.S. Pairs Final. So, another one with a lot of potential and another one with a lot of unknowns. We'll see also in this group Ellie Kam, Danny O'Shea, new as of last year, and they had that really great breakthrough season. Third last year at U.S. Nationals, then 12th at Worlds, and you kind of thought that in some ways, kind of like Chan and Howe, that they were going to take that momentum and build on it for this season. And with Chan and Howe, it was the shoulder surgery. With Kam and O'Shea, it's been injuries. There are just a couple of injuries this season. One of them that actually took them out of the Grand Prix of France in between the short and the free, and so just kind of things that have kept them from really capitalizing on last season for their sophomore season. The biggest thing, especially that we've seen in competition this season, has still been their throws that really hasn't clicked yet for them, and they're they've been doing two triple throws this year versus last year when they spent much of the season doing one triple and one double throw. And so they want to make sure that they up that technical content so that they are competitive with kind of the rest of the world. And also in a lot of ways, right, like when if a judge sees content that has lower base value like that, it has knock-on effects on other things, whether or not it should have knock-on effects on other things. The twist certainly has gotten more solid for them. You saw them warm up that double twist there. If you remember last year at Nationals, they took a pretty jarring and some would say spectacular fall on a triple twist to start one of their programs, and that was something that made them feel like they might have lost out on a chance, and kind of the rest of their skating, which is incredibly solid, saved them and kept them on the podium and on to Worlds.
Beginning with Ellie Koratek and Timmy Chapman, to be followed by Negan Smith and Mark Stussy.
That triple twist. You see how she came down and sort of made body contact with Danny right on the catch. If you are to get the level where it's kind of the I'll call it the catch control level, the woman has to be caught by the man without basically any other contact, and then also without hitting her blade on the ice. So you can't like kind of catch them and for the catch to basically be on the ice, it has to be a clean catch and a set down in order for that level to be called. So that one that you just saw with the kind of slight body contact at the very end, that would not have qualified for the level.
Ellie Koratek and Timmy Chapman, to be followed by Nika Digernis and Mark Sadusky. Koratek and Chapman will be skating their short program.
Well, when you see miming hats, you know that there's one Michael Jackson coming on. Love these graphics. Ellie Koratek with a lovebird and a chinchilla.
Sadusky, their free skate program, to be followed by Elisa Efimova and Misha Mitrofanov.
On the side here, as Digenus and Sadusky are starting their run through, seeing a few pretty nice side by sides from Cam and O'Shea. You see a throw triple toe from them. It's not a. It's an element that actually was very popular in decades past, and actually has gotten much less popular lately. You actually don't see that very often. There was a time when the throw triple toe was an element in junior skating, and so you saw that a lot in junior skating, and then it seems like they, when you get to a senior, you kind of sort of quote unquote graduate into the throw sows and throw loops of the world. It's a more tricky entrance, as I've been told. I've never done pair skating, and so that's something that I can't talk to in terms of how it actually feels. But the throw triple toe is just a different kind of timing versus the edge throws that you see much more often with the sow and the loop. As you look at pair lifts, one thing that is always great to look at is not just the position in the air, but the way that the pair the pair partner is sort of rotating across the ice. It says a lot both about the stability of the lift and also about how much ice coverage you get on the lift. I probably look at the guy's feet while they're doing their the lifts more often than I look at the entirety of the lift itself because of that. It actually says a lot, and it tells a lot of the story of how successful a lift is. Cam and O'Shea just hit a third triple loop, which I didn't see yesterday.
Now skating, Elisa Efimova and Misha Mitrofanov, to be followed by Ellie Cam and Danny O'Shea. This will be their short program.
We've got Efimova and Mitrofanov here. First time we'll see them at U.S. Nationals. Take a look at this twist here. Steps. Split. Arms down, and then the catch. That probably was a 2. Connecting steps would probably not be called connecting. The split wasn't a full split, and the arms down and the catch looked good on that. You can really see Efimova's pairing abilities there, and just how much the last 7 years that she's spent in international competition in pairs has been very kind of helpful for her here with this new partnership. Let's look at this twist now. Steps. Split, down, and the catch. Either a 2 or a 3 on that one. When they hit those side-by-side triple Salchows, they are really well synced. And it's been a problem for them this season, and so far this week it's looked pretty solid. There's that throw. I've seen them in practice a good number of times now, between last year Nationals and Worlds and then this year here. And there's something about not kind of Ellie Cam not quite having the sort of pair throw instincts yet. Not even about landing, but about how you kind of fall on a pair throw. They're tough, and sometimes you see pair girls who are just more cat-like in the way that they fall versus, when you're being thrown across the ice a good number of feet, it's just a lot harder to control. And some of that, probably contributed to some of the issues that they've had this season. Which makes their side-by-sides just that much more important for them to hit. See the footwork there from Danny O'Shea. That it's smooth. It's smooth and quick. That's why you saw that kind of ice coverage there, and it wasn't a long lift. It was a fairly short lift because it went down the ice so quickly.
There are approximately 19 minutes remaining in this practice session.
Efimova still struggling with that side by side. They're doing triple toes on the end. We're It's not so much that their side by sides are fixed. It's more that their side by sides are more in sync, and they're just more comfortable with the timing with each other. Really smooth throw triple loop from Efimova Mitrofanov. And she just went. Yeah, she's practicing that again. She went on one foot and did an entire transition out of it. You see these quite a bit here during pairs practice sessions. Pair stroking exercises often happen, and it often happens right at the end, right before skaters go and take their bows. A cool down, if you will. There's your bow from Digimus and Sandusky. All right, as we wrap up the last 10 minutes of this practice session, we're going to tidy up over here and get ready for our interview during the ice cut. And we're going to have Chelsea Liu and Balaj Naj here with us. So it'll be a fun interview, fun conversation with Skate America bronze medalist, and then right after that, I'll be joined by Tim Goebel. So excited to have a friend back in the booth again, and we will talk a little bit more about pairs in a little bit. See you in a few minutes.
Are we playing truth or dare, or I just have to do exactly what she says?
They're all.
Oh my god! Dance around like a monkey for 10 seconds.
Okay. He does this at home. Like, this is not hard for him at all.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Liu,
I'm Prevagen, and we represent
the Skating Club of New York.
See, it's too much to say.
I didn't know when you were gonna say it.
What I enjoy most about figure skating is the actual skating, gliding, and like moving across the ice. Because it's very unlike probably every other sport.
The fact that I'm not alone out there, I have a partner, you know, it's like having your best friend who's out there with you and going through the same emotions and feelings. I have to wear my jade necklace. I have to have my stuffed bunny with me on the ice and left skate first.
I like to have a treat, like an hour before, something with sugar, like a pastry or something.
I speak Mandarin Chinese.
English is my second language. Before that I spoke Hungarian. Then I learned Italian and Spanish concurrently. And then I can stumble around in Russian.
Who is your sports idol?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Can I say Brandon Fraser? Well, I've known Brandon actually since I was a baby. He's been a great mentor and a coach, and it's been wonderful to train alongside him and now under him as his student, and I've learned a lot.
What reality show would you want to be in?
Jersey Shore, GTL, easy.
Probably Selling Sunset.
No, actually, serious answer, I want to go on one of like the cooking shows. Okay, I like making sauces.
What can we expect from you guys this season?
Wow. Chelsea told me you guys would be asking me this, and then I did not take her seriously at all. You guys can expect that we will do our utmost at every competition. We train really hard back at home, and our goal is to improve upon every performance as we go along throughout the season.
Unique New York.
Oh, I got it. Unique New York.
Let's go. Salted peanuts.
Salted peanuts?
You can't see me.
Oh, I don't know this one. One more time.
You can't see me.
You can't see me.
Let's go. She's a champion.
We got some tougher ones. We're gonna
Okay,
go again.
okay.
We're gonna go.
Oh, wow.
Oh no. What are these, like expert mode?
Wipe that smile off your face.
Wipe that smile off your face.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna make this one really hard for her. Pricey paper points to power.
Wait, do it one more time.
Pricey paper points to power. Pricey paper points to power.
Was one of the words moist? I don't.
Pricey.
One more time.
Pricey paper points.
Something paper
Points
points
to
to
power.
math. After every word, go like
Pricey.
price.
Price E.
Price is
E.
eat.
Price E.
Pricing.
E. E.
Pricey.
Paper
Paper
points
points
to
to
power.
pow. Oh. Pricey paper points to Power? What does that even mean?
Do we get to choose individually? So like she can make the wrong choice and then I can make the right one?
All right, I see how it is now.
Reese's Puffs.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna.
that's
top
gonna be
that
a
at
5 for me.
Lucky Charms.
Maybe 1.
Still go with 3. Just not a fan of the marshmallows.
What? Those are the
I
best
know,
part.
right?
Oh my
That's what
god.
everyone tells me.
Those are so good.
Cheerios.
Any specific type of Cheerio or
Yeah.
just like Team Cheerios? I don't
What are
know.
those?
They had them around for the Olympics and it was like a mixture of like frosted Cheerios, multigrain. It was delish.
okay.
Number 1.
If it's honey nut, I'll go like a 2.
Frosted Mini Wheats.
That's a solid 3 for me.
Fan 2.
Captain Crunch.
Uh-oh. Captain Crunch has got to be 5 for me? Wow. All right.
That's a 4
There
then.
we go. I think that I probably would have popped the Reese's Puffs a little bit different. I think yours was correct on the Reese's Puffs,
Yeah.
but then I was correct on everything else. Candy,
Candy.
Candy.
Gummy bears.
gummy bears. That's a
Ooh.
solid one. I think gummy bears is gonna have to go in top half too.
3. Yeah.
Skittles.
3.
That's a 4.
Kit Kat.
2.
That's a 4 for me.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Ooh. Well, okay. What kind?
Yes, we've
Yeah,
had this
we had-
debate
we've-
regularly, and we would like to make it known to the world that the best type of Reese's Peanut Butter Cup is actually the specialty one.
Yeah, the shape
Eggs,
ones, the
the
pumpkins.
pumpkin, yeah.
Those are so good.
Those are a 1 for me.
I agree. Yes.
Twizzlers.
Oh,
Twizzlers can't
maybe a 5.
What a
I would
kill we
switch
got.
the Skittles and the Twizzlers.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Move Twizzlers up to 2 for me.
yeah.
Well, the Zambonis haven't come out yet, which is surprising, but we're back. It's the ice cut time at the 2024 Prevagen U.S. Figure Skating Championships. We are joined by some special guests, and so when the Zamboni comes out over there, we could hear some Zamboni noise. But we have Chelsea and Balaj here. Good to see you both.
Good to see you too.
We'll figure out how this microphone thing works. But we were actually just looking at the videos that were on your screen earlier. Tell me a little more about aged Twizzlers. I need to know about this.
All right, first of all, so everybody knows Twizzlers is the best artificially flavored candy ever. That's a fact. And secondly, a little trick for connoisseurs out there is Twizzlers have to be aged to properly develop their flavor. You know, like most things, you ferment them or you age them a little bit. Twizzlers are no exception to that rule. And you have to open the bag a little bit a day before you plan to enjoy them. And they give the Twizzler the ideal texture that you would aim to have from that.
So it's like oxidating the Twizzlers? Okay. I will try that the next time I try some Twizzlers. Okay, more serious things here. First season together, Skate America bronze medalists. I mean, when you all first kind of paired up, what were you expecting? Was it this? Like, were you expecting to come into nationals being a podium contender?
We certainly hoped so during our tryout. Our first tryout was actually like an hour long, but we really quickly found that our big elements like twists and lifts gelled together really nicely. We have very similar technique and a style of skating, so right away we felt comfortable and knew that we could reach some really great heights, and it's definitely been one of our goals.
Great heights. The triple twist is one of your great heights. Tell me about the timing on that, because what we're doing here is practice commentary, right? So a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is literally the nitty gritty behind some of the things that you're seeing that's more polished in competition. Tell me about how you were talking about your timing being really good, right? Your pairing being really good. How does that twist work so well for you?
Sure. So I think both of us had a pretty good basic technique on twist. And so
I mean, I don't. It's kind of just one of those things that you just feel the first time. Like the first time we went for, I think even a single, I was like, oh, okay, that feels good. And so, I mean, even on the first day, we're like, okay, double, triple, like it just the timing of it was just very natural together as you get that load. I mean, I don't know. I can't like explain it. I mean, her technique worked, and I think mine worked with it. So.
Yeah, there's so much about the pairing of skaters, right? That, yeah, that's why you have tryouts. Take us a little bit behind the scenes, right? We only hear about pairs like, oh, they're together, okay. Like, how do you all come together? Like, what is the tryout process? What do you actually do?
Go for it. I mean.
Okay. Yeah. So I was recovering from surgery, and I knew I wanted to skate again. After I came back, and so I had just called the federation. I was like, hey, I want to skate again, and then they kind of put me in touch with people. And so I actually spoke, kind of one of the last conversations I had with Todd was about coming out to try out with Chelsea. And so it's really between, I didn't really have a coach representing me at the time, and so I just kind of spoke directly to everybody I was trying out with. And then we flew out. I mean, I flew out, and then we tried out. And I mean, yeah, obviously the tryout is to see if your elements work, to see if, you know, you get along and whatnot. But I mean, really in a lap, in like one stroking pattern, you can kind of tell. And so sometimes you'll do your one stroking pattern, you're like, oh man, I'm here for a week. Like, and
I can tell you've both had these experiences before.
Yeah, I mean, and then, I mean, thankfully it wasn't that with Chelsea. I mean, kind of from the first, I mean, earlier we talked about twist technique being similar. I think our basic skating and stroke and all that is also kind of very similar and very aligned. And just skating is just very like fluid and together as well.
Yeah, I mean, when we had our tryout, I was not in shape. I had not skated for almost a year. I was recovering from my last concussion. And I came in maybe once a month to the rink just to skate around and like say hi to everybody, but I didn't actually know where I wanted to be. I had a couple tryouts prior to that, but because those didn't work out, I wasn't seriously training or anything. And once we had our first tryout, I was like, okay, like everything feels good. So I spent the next few weeks just getting in shape and, you know, getting my jumps back. And then I had Prevagen come back out to California, and we had a longer tryout for an extended one, just to make sure that everything gelled well, and so that also Jenny could take a look at us in person. Our first tryout, she wasn't there, so yeah.
That's fun. I mean, it goes to show that the both of you have not just good technique, but technique that's similar to each other, and that's part of why you all work so well together. All right, I know one, the Zamboni is on. Two, you two probably have to go take a break, but what are you looking forward to the most in Columbus?
I think goal-wise, I think our biggest goal is to make the world team. The other thing I was excited about that I just told Andrea was when I saw that we had our own poster at the Adea stand, and I was like, finally, I got my own poster. So best believe I took a picture and sent it to my mom.
I did too. I'm pretty sure there's like little cards of the poster too, and I'm pretty sure we took like half the stack.
I want a poster. That'd be nice.
We'll bring you one.
Yeah. There you go. I want more. I want posters of like everybody. Okay. Thank you for coming. It is cold down here. Go warm down or whatever you need to do, and we'll see you in competition.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. We'll be back. We'll be back for the third and last group of the pairs practice in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. We'll be back.
Oh boy.
I feel like it should be going by a lot easier.
It's not on Netflix either. Ah, I felt so confident.
Nutella. No,
Nutella,
jelly beans.
butter, and then what is that? Jellyfish?
Hazelnut butter. Yeah.
Hazelnut butter. Peanut butter jelly? No. Yeah, PJ. Hey.
Willy Wonka.
I don't know. It's a tricky one.
Maybe honey. Chocolate. Is chocolate the first one?
Mm-mm. Chocolate bee? What is chocolate bee? Hershey bee? Chocolate bar bee. Chocolate bar bee.
Chocolate Barbie.
Oh, Barbie.
Oh. Oh, I'm stupid. Okay. That's pretty good. I like that one. Wow. Okay. Okay. These are getting harder and harder. Okay. I speak, talk, time. Wait, is that a witch? Witch. Time. Sand. Sandwich. I talk, what? Or everyone's gonna be laughing at me right now. I'm so confused. Bro. Yell? Scream? Ice cream sandwich. Dude, I'm so stupid. Okay. That's like really, looking back at it now, it's like so easy, but then, okay, that's embarrassing.
Rock, paper, scissors for it. Rock, paper, scissors, go.
The password is rodeo.
What do you say?
Lasso.
Cowboy.
Like
Texas.
Cowgirl.
No.
event.
Skate America. Wait. No, it's one word, right? The password's one word? Oh.
Cows.
Country.
An event.
Rodeo?
There we
And
Rodeo?
yeah.
I forgot like I said
Cowgirl. Skate America.
The password is spectacular.
Amazing.
Amazing Grace.
It's only one word anyways, but no.
Okay.
Wow.
So we've got amazing, we've got wow. It's not Grace. Sublime.
No. Okay. Synonym.
Excellent.
Skating.
Queen.
National.
Performance.
Exhibition.
Show.
Gala.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Skating. Spectacular. National.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Dang.
FaceTime someone and pick your nose the entire time. Perfect. Yeah, I would love to. What's up, bro? That's exactly what I'm doing. How's your day been?
Where are you?
Bro, how are you doing?
Get your finger out of your nose. I'm not responding until you stop picking your nose. Bro, doesn't that hurt? You're like finger deep in there.
So I have a challenge to FaceTime somebody picking my nose the whole time.
From who?
Well, I'm in media. With the lights. Can I take my finger out?
Wow, what a challenge.
I know, right? I can't believe.
The thought of that is maniacal.
We are back. It's the last group of the pairs practice for today, and the Zamboni literally just came off, and the pair skaters are already on.
The ice is still wet.
Oh, yeah, and this is Tim Goebel, who's with me right now. This is the 2024 Prevagen U.S. Figure Skating Championships. I'm Jackie Wong. We are bringing you, again, a very different feel and a very different look to practice this week with practice cam coverage. My special guest, Olympic bronze medalist, national champion, all kinds of stuff.
All the stuff.
Yeah, Tim Goebel. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so we were talking about why you were here in Columbus this week.
Okay, so I have to be completely honest, and I love all of our athletes, and I'm really happy to be here at the championships. I am here to see Ilya land a quad axel in real life. That's what I'm here for. It's the coolest. I never thought it would happen in my lifetime. I never thought I would see one, and he keeps doing them, and it's amazing. And I want to see one. I've watched it 1,000 times on YouTube, of course, but I want to see it in real life, and hopefully on like ice level would be ideal.
Yeah.
Like landing right in front of me.
Yeah.
That would be like. It would be almost as good as the first time I landed a quad in competition, because it's like a skating miracle. I mean, the fact that he can do one is insane.
Okay, so that's an interesting question for you. So you did toe and sow in competition.
In competition.
What else did you do?
I did loop and flip in practice. The flip was a little.
Yeah.
It would be a little bit
curly.
of a quarter, a little hooky.
Yeah.
I tried.
I'm surprised
I fully
with the
rotated quad lutz. I fully I technically it was a flutz because I rolled to the edge, but edge alert notwithstanding, I fully rotated a quad lutz one time, but my feet didn't really hit the ice first, and I ended up kind of fracturing a rib.
Oh God!
Yeah, I just did a face plant because my technique was a little dicey.
But
I got around.
It.
I got around. And like, so help me God, I fully rotated that, and the fracture was worth it. Carol was horrified. I was with Carol Heiss-Jenkins and Glenn Watts at the time. They were horrified, but I survived it, and I lived to tell the tale.
Wow, that is quite the tale.
Yes,
I'm surprised with the loop because I didn't think the loop was your favorite jump.
Loop was a good jump for me. I really quickly after getting triple loop by itself was able to tack it on as the second jump in a combo. And so loop was it was interesting with loop for me because on a good day I could do 2 out of 6, 2 out of 7. On a bad day I could do none out of 100. It was either like, oh, this is going to be great, or oh, this is going to be painful. It would be one of those where like I could land one and then on the next attempt, I could fall on the takeoff. So it was a yard sale. I never would have done it in competition. It never would have been consistent enough to do, but it was a cool thing to do. And then one time at NHK, and this is like, I wish YouTube had existed then, but I was at NHK Trophy, and it was myself, Plushenko, Takeshi Honda, and I believe the Ukrainian athlete Ilya Pliuta was also there, and he could do a quad lutz. He never did it successfully in competition, but he could do a quad lutz, spot on in practice, beautiful. And so we had like a jump contest. And so I did quad sow and quad toe, and Plushenko did quad sow and quad toe, and he did, I think he either did a flip or a lutz.
He did a lutz.
I don't remember. But he did it, and it was like boom, it was nice.
I don't think he ever had a flip.
Takeshi did a sow, a toe, and a flip. Nice.
Flip too.
And then I looked at Glenn. Glenn Watts was with me at the time. I was like, I'm going to try something. And he's like, oh, God, please don't. And I'm like, I'm doing it. And so I went and I did a quad sow, quad toe, and the quad toe was cheated. But I stood up on it, and people were like, wait, how, what?
Wow.
Why? But I did it, but I stood up.
Could you imagine?
It was cheated.
Could you imagine this is there was social media back then?
It would have been like the practice. Honestly, that practice was more exciting than the competition because none of us competed. Our long programs were not particularly great for any of us.
That's amazing. Well, that's a trip down memory lane. Well,
that was like in the 99. I don't even know.
That sounds about right.
Maybe 2000.
That sounds about
like
right.
it was a minute ago. It was all right.
All right. Well, while we go down memory lane, there are there are pair skaters on the ice, and the ones you're seeing on your screen right now are my dark horses for the podium: Katie McBeath and Daniel Parkman. And a lot because of that, which we just saw, which is that they have very solid side-by-side jumps. They've got the toe, they've got the flip, and you know, this competition is going to be a lot of who's going to land those side-by-sides. I mean, it's not that different from when you were competing back in the day, where pairs like U.S. pairs was who's going to land the side-by-sides.
Exactly, and I think that's really one of the key things to look for is not only are they executing the side-by-side jumps well, they both have great technique and they both have good unison.
Yeah.
And so you may have other teams executing, but they're not physically as close on the ice. And the unison on the takeoff is maybe not always as crisp as they are.
Yeah, for sure. Did you ever get into any pair skating?
So I would, on tour, I would play, and sometimes David Pelletier would throw me. And it was fun because I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do a quad and it doesn't require any work. And this is so nice, and it saves my knees. No, but I was never one to lift.
Yeah.
I have trust issues. I only depend on myself.
Same.
Pairs was not for me.
Same.
And so if you're thinking about a Lutz in the corner, like, do you have to maybe push up against the prevailing wall before you enter? So little things like that. It's not really about the repetition or the technical practice, because that should be done long before the event starts. But it's getting yourself familiar with the building and the venue, and kind of even little things like where you're going to do your off-ice warm-up.
Yeah.
Like where you're going to get situated to do your pre-6-minute warm-up set, where you can like find a private space where you're not being, jostled by other competitors that are coming in and out, that kind of. So just kind of familiarizing yourself with the building.
Rituals and familiarity.
Yes, and each venue is very different, and so like this arena setup is very different from our athletes that are going to 4 continents are going to have a very different experience there, and so they're going to have to go in and quickly switch that mindset. Like, all right, how am I going to get set up here to be comfortable and warm and set up to do my practice and my competition?
Got McBeath and Parkman here. I think they were actually asked to maybe start their program a little bit earlier because of I might be wrong. The other music might have ended. Nevertheless, basically a full run through from the triple twist that looked like at least a level 3. Side by side triple toes where he put his hand down, and then a really, really solid Lutz, throw Lutz that Katie McBeath landed. One of the things that you could see with them too is if you were here during the ice cut when we were talking to Chelsea and Balaj, as they were talking about the sort of naturalness of pairing, and these two, same thing, kind of this natural. They just work really well on their unison. And Tim, you were talking earlier about their side-by-side triple toes, good technique, good unison. They're like in sync.
And his feet when they do a lift, he has such great footing. He has such great technique. You watch him go up, and it just looks effortless.
Yeah.
He just flows across the ice, and their physical symmetry is also really nice. Their proportionality is nice. They look like kind of that archetype pair team that when you look back to like a Gordeev and Greencroft and Mishkatunik and Dmitriev, Kozakova and Dmitriev, the proportionality is really nice, and it lends to kind of that grand look of like the kind of stronger, powerful man and the more petite female, and kind of, launching through the air. And it just, there's something grand about it when there is that height difference that is really kind of aesthetically just pleasing.
Yeah. Makova and Makov here marking a lot of things.
And so that is a strategy in and of itself. Mm-hmm. So there is, and I ascribed a bit to this in my competitive career, was rarely did I do a full run through a competition, and my experience had been as a junior and as a rising senior when I was doing full run throughs, because practices at a national championships or world championships used to be fully attended, and so it felt like a competition, and so mentally to be on for a whole week became a little bit much to kind of process. And so I was a little more strategic later in my career of when I would kind of put it all out there. So there is a strategy to kind of like doing sections or doing bits and pieces and kind of conserving the energy, not so much physically, but the mental of like, oh my gosh, if I do a run through, everything has to be perfect. Well, if you're doing sections, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So the mental capacity is a little bit diminished.
Right.
And you can kind of wing it more, so to speak.
Oh, the days when practices were fully attended. Oh, you see these sometimes at Worlds and some of the big competitions.
It would be great to get us to a place where we have that again. Although a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, a quick update on Wessenberg and Caputo. Looks, I don't think, no, I see Megan Wessenberg still looking over at the board, so perhaps a chance that he might come back to the ice. You see Maria and Yvonne both doing a good bit of marking there. That's what I've seen from them also in at other competitions, marking their run-throughs as well.
Now remind me, has that been a good strategy for them this season?
I think it's just been a strategy for them.
Got it.
So. Of his movement across the ice, right? He doesn't lose much speed.
As we would say, he has great feet.
Yeah.
He has great feet when he's lifting. You always feel like he's secure, he's confident.
Right.
It's not loud, you don't hear any noise because he's just transitioning so smoothly. Oh, that's a great highlight there.
That's their signature lift.
Great power and control. Absolutely wonderful.
This is one of those things I was talking about earlier, where it's like it's very obvious for each pair which one is their favorite moves.
Yes, yes.
And we know which one is their favorite here. It's those lifts. There's been a lot of buzz. I've been talking to a number of former skaters, current skaters about the pairs event, and there's been a lot of buzz about how this could be a highlight if these pairs that have so much potential can just like put some things together.
Yes, exactly. If the top teams hit, solid long programs, this could be a really, really dynamic and exciting event. And it really sets us up well, not only going into the World Championships in 4 continents, but it cues us well going into the next Olympic cycle. And really that's what, hopefully most of these teams are aiming for.
I want to talk to you about that, actually. This is a pattern that I've recognized, or seen at least, just based on many, many, many years of watching figure skating.
And you being a fabulous data analyst.
Yeah, exactly. This is the second year in the quad, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second year is always feels like the cusp year where you're gonna see you'll probably see some retirements this year, right? Because we're in the middle. You'll probably see younger skaters start to break through. You'll probably see skaters take risks this year on choreography, on technical elements, all that kind of stuff, because they want to, like you said, set themselves up for the next 2 years to the Olympics. How did you think about that as you were going through your Olympic cycles?
So it's interesting because in a way I didn't, because I didn't have to, because my coaches had kind of part of it was just the timing of when I started landing quads in competition, and just kind of the evolution of that. So my physically being
you were world
ready.
junior champion 98.
I was world junior silver in 90.
Am I getting my years all wrong?
96 or 97. It was Korea, and Plashenko won, and I was second.
I can literally just look this up.
And yes, if there were only a tool called Google where I work, that had all of the world's information organized.
Yeah.
No, so was it?
You were
90?
second in 97.
Okay, yeah, it was the 96, 97, and then the 97. Right, so the 97, 98, when Derek Delmore won, was a year that I had the potential to win, but had the the hip tear.
That's what it was. Junior
missed
Grand Prix final.
And I won the Grand Prix final, and that was when I executed the first quad sow. And so timing-wise, my breakout was a little bit early, but then we had the Goodwill Games.
All right.
Which was kind of my
4 continents.
It was really my first, the Goodwill Games in Long Island. Okay, good save, but they did it. They executed it. It was maybe a little -1, but it was cleanly rotated, and they were on their feet. So Goodwill Games in 98 was kind of the first real senior event I had done internationally, where I managed to execute a quad there as well. But that was kind of my senior debut, so to speak.
Right.
But it really is important, because if you don't make your mark by this season, it's going to be tough to break through, because realistically, for a pair team, for a dance team, for a men's singles, not so much for the women, but for men's singles, you really need to get a Worlds under your belt, or at least one, before you get into an Olympic season, to really kind of have a shot at that podium, and you need to build your resume. With the women, it's a little bit different, I think, because you have people come in that are splashy and young and show up with quads and whatever.
We'll see what happens now with these age change rules.
It is going to be very interesting to see. I think what I think the age change rules, great point to bring up with the age change rules. I think what you will see, just by the nature of the game, is I think you will see more longevity with our women's competitors, which I think is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
To really have that build, that kind of lead up where you can watch an athlete develop and grow, not only as a technician but an artist, and kind of giving us back the opportunity to have that Michelle Kwan moment where you have the story arc and the career and the long-lasting success. I'd love to get back to that time where it's less of like a point in time and more of a story arc, more of a career development, where you see our younger athletes move from like that first year senior where they like eke their way onto the podium, but then they kind of develop and flourish, and now it's just like a little bit for the women a flash in the pan. It's like they have a great year and they do all of the things and they get this huge score, and then the next year they're injured and they're gone. So it'd be great to see a little bit more staying power with our female athletes.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Something of a social experiment, if you will. I mean, I think if you looked at the practices, these three groups of practices, so far, McBeath and Parkman have been the most impressive / consistent of the bunch, and I think that it's those 6 pairs really that came in all sort of looking like they're going to be medal contenders. It's still them.
And I would also add well-rounded.
Yeah,
well-rounded. They can jump. They have great lines. They can do the spins. They can do the lifts. They both have competitive experience, although not together.
Right.
But they have a healthy competitive experience, each of them, their own resumes. So I think, agreed, based on this practice, they definitely have a little bit more momentum going into this competition, going into this championship.
But as Paulina Edmonds was saying in the women's practice, you can win practice, but you have to win the actual competition. and you never know, right? You never know how people are going to go, especially given that these skaters are a lot of these pairs are fairly new as pairs.
They're not battle tested, and this will be for many of these newer teams, new together. This will really be the litmus test, and can they deliver in a high pressure environment where really there is something on the line.
A couple other things here before we wrap. Makova and Makov, I've taken a look at their practices. They've looked better today than yesterday. A couple of nice side-by-side double axles. Saw a good throw triple sow. Like, definitely improvements in their stability since Skate America, especially. So we'll be good to see if they can put it together. Plazas Fernandez still working on those side-by-side triple toes, and we'll see what happens with that. And it looks like Megan Westenberg is gonna keep practicing by herself today, and hope for the best with her partner for tomorrow, competition day. All right, you just saw on the screen there will be men's practice here tomorrow afternoon. There will be lots of other practices going on, but tomorrow is a big day. Tomorrow will be the only day of the 4 competition days where we have 3 championship events happening. Pairs starting at 2, rhythm dance at 4:30, and then the women's short program at 7:15. So it is going to be jam-packed tomorrow. And if you're going to add the junior women's free skate tomorrow, you're going to go from 10:25 a.m. Eastern to about, midnight. Which,
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Oh,
baby.
yeah. It is a marathon, and that's what we do here. All right. Well, Tim, thank you for joining me.
Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited I would love to be next to you when you see that quad axle.
Oh, I can't wait.
That would be really fun.
Cannot wait.
All right. Well, we're gonna be back on the practice cam in Friday for men's practice, I believe. So
very exciting.
Yeah,
I'll be in the stands. I might
Tim's
juggling out my way down here and just show up.
Tim's gonna be heckling me from the stands. So that's what's going to happen. And so excited to be doing this, and so excited to be bringing you a different view of practice that hopefully was helpful to you. Let me know how we did. Let me know what you want to see, what you want improved, what you want to see come back while we're
1 minute remaining in this practice session. If we have mispronounced your name, please notify the announcing team